The United States President Trump's decision to talk to Russian President Vladimir Putin has left European leaders scrambling to forge a cohesive response to Trump's plan to end the Ukraine war. France and other countries including Germany, Italy, Spain, Poland, Denmark and the United Kingdom are meeting for a second emergency meeting in Paris today to discuss the issue in Paris. Macron planned to speak to leaders of around 15 countries, the most taking part by video link, according to the presidency. This comes after Macron on Monday convened key European leaders as well as NATO and EU chiefs for emergency talks. But several smaller European countries, including Romania and the Czech Republic, were reportedly upset at not being invited despite being strong supporters of Ukraine. Leaders of Belgium, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Bulgaria, the Czech Republic and Croatia were expected to take part in the second emergency meeting in Paris on Wednesday. Currently, the European nations are facing a big split, with Germany rejecting UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's plan to deploy a European peacekeeping force to Ukraine. On Wednesday, the European Union agreed to impose a fresh round of sanctions against Moscow, making it the 16th such package. The new sanctions ban imports of Russian primary aluminium, Russian unwrought aluminium accounts for about 6% of the EU's aluminium imports. This share, however, has decreased over the past years as European manufacturers moved away from Russian suppliers. The latest sanctions also broadens the blacklist against tankers belonging to Russia's shadow fleet that notoriously circumvent Western restrictions on oil trade. This fleet reportedly consists of old-age, uninsured ships suspected of deceptive practices, including falsifying data and concealing the origins of their oil barrels. EU nations allege that the poor condition of the vessels potentially risk oil spills and environmental disasters. In an interview on Tuesday, the French president said Russia poses an existential threat to Europeans. He also emphasized that sending forces to Ukraine could take place only in the most limited fashion and away from conflict zones. Macron asserted that Paris is not preparing to send ground troops that are belligerent to the conflict. The French president also claimed that if Europe remains blind to the Russian threat, the front lines will move ever closer to its border. And for the latest, our correspondent Sarah Coates is now joining us live from Paris. Good to see you, Sarah. This is a second emergency meeting happening in a span of just 1 week. We don't know, and we have not received any communique about the first meeting. Do we know any details about what happened in the first meeting and who have been invited in the second meeting?
Yes, hello there. You did mention the guest list for this second crisis summit in the space of 48 hours being held here in the French capital, hastily arranged by the President Emmanuel Macron. Some of those attending: Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, Czech Republic, Greece, Finland, Romania, Sweden, Belgium, and then of course there's NATO allies, Norway and Canada. They're really pushing for a united position after really that was not agreed during this first round of crisis talks held here in Paris on Monday. The European leaders that were at that discussion, they failed to, as you mentioned, present a joint communique at the end of talks to present that united position that they're looking for amid this real change in relations, this dramatic shift in relations between Russia and the United States. Now, we do also need to take into account that President Trump, he's come out over the last 12 or so hours to say that he expects to hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin by the end of this month. And this, of course, is causing a lot of concern here in Europe.
Sarah, good to see you. Thank you. We'll have to leave it there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.